Hey there, Tad Hargrave from Marketing for Hippies. We're talking about awkwardness in marketing, part 2. Okay, so I just did a video talking about how being awkward is very normal, very human. It's a very sincere thing. But I know that's not exactly practical help. Although I will say that the reducing our nerves, that is practical. That is a practical thing. Okay, but if you feel awkward in marketing, here's what it probably means. It probably means you're scared in some way. Yeah, this is where the awkwardness comes from. And if you're scared, that is an emotional sign that you are feeling unprepared. Yeah. So the whole thing, a lot of this in terms of dealing with the awkwardness is preparing, coming up with some sort of a plan. A lot of, I think, awkwardness comes from people trying to freestyle everything all the time. It's always being, improvised in the moment. And that's, of course, going to be a little more awkward than it needs to be. So whatever the situation is, it's just good to think it through in advance. So let's say you want to approach some hubs, some influencers, some people who you think could be a good connection for you in your business. Well, rather than just calling them up out of the blue or sending them the first email that comes to mind, consider this. Consider, first of all, if it's going to be an email, write the email, sleep on it. Come back to it the next day. And have you really thought through the approach? In my ebook, Hub Marketing, by the way, I've got a lot of thoughts about how do you specifically approach people in a way that would feel good. And let's say you're at networking events and you think, boy, I really want to figure out how to approach people better. Well, think it through. You come up with, how do I want to introduce myself? How do I articulate what I do? And if you feel really awkward, by the way, you can always ask for help. If it's at a networking event, you could just say that you're talking with someone. It's like, hey, would you be my wingman and go introduce me to that person there? I really want to talk. And boy, people are so happy to help you with this. So come up with a plan and ask for help. Asking for an introduction is almost always the easiest way to go. It smooths everything, because people are so, if a friend of theirs introduces them to you, they're so much more open than if you just did the cold approach. And that's an important thing to say. In marketing, in the Hub Marketing ebook, I lay out that there are 3 kind of levels of marketing. There's cold, warm, and hot. And the cold, you're just approaching people as a stranger. They don't know your name. They're not glad you came. The warm, you're approaching a hub instead. At the hot level, they're approaching you. So at the hot level, they get to be awkward. You see what I'm saying? At the hot level, you don't have to approach anyone. There's no weird social awkwardness. People are coming to you saying, hey, I heard about your work. I want to work with you. How can I pay you, basically? Your business is building through word of mouth and reputation. So that's the place I think we want to get to. That handles most of the awkwardness there. But the most awkward thing is this cold approach. And it's inherently awkward because, cold calling, how is that going to be anything other than awkward? You're calling somebody to sell them. It's so bizarrely modern and kind of inhuman, And then there's the cold calling, or just knocking on doors, selling vacuum cleaners, or going to random business mixers and trying to introduce yourself to people to get clients. But the warm level, where we start doing the hubs thing, this takes away a lot of the awkwardness. Because first of all, if you get over the awkwardness with this one hub, they might introduce you to 10 people. So now it's one moment of awkwardness, not 10. You see what I'm saying? And the hubs can then introduce you to other hubs. So you get this rolling effect where the awkwardness is very minimal ultimately, because you're just building relationships and connections with people who might be good connections for you. What else do I want to say here? Those are my main thoughts. Hopefully that's some practical help around how do you overcome and contend with this awkwardness. And again, it really is a human thing. If you feel awkward, that makes me trust you more, because it means you're a sincere human being. It's the people who shamelessly push themselves so slick, so perfect. Those are the ones I don't trust as much. So here's to all of us awkward people in the world banding together, trying to figure out how to talk to people about our businesses. Hopefully that's helpful. Again, if you like this video, you can subscribe below on YouTube and click the subscribe and the bell icon. You can like it on Facebook if you're watching it there, or follow me on Facebook. And I've got, of course, a website, marketingforhippies.com. You can check me out there. Thanks so much, everyone.